Okay, the drill you're watching right now is something we call 20-40-60 or 20-40-60-80. You can make the distances whatever you'd like for them to be. You could even call this 20s. We got a group of 4 players trying to get the ball around at 20 feet, and after they've done that 3 times or 4 times or 5 times or whatever, they've got to back up 20 more feet. Now there's a mound on this field we've got today, so they've got to work around that. Big deal. You got to learn to adjust to play this game. So they're working now on getting the ball around 3 times, and then they're backing up 20 feet. While they're doing this, to make it game-like, to have what we call, again, reality-based training, the clock is ticking. They're being timed. And the goal is for these 4 players to get the ball around 3 times quicker than any other 4 players on their team. You can have a year-long competition right here and have a World Series or whatever else. They'll also have to make adjustments as they go along. All of the things we've talked about, throwing and how to use the ability to be ready to catch before you throw, all of those types of things are being worked on here. They realize that at 20 feet I can do something different that's quicker than I might can do at 60 feet or 80 feet. I might have to throw the ball overhanded if I get to 60 feet or 80 feet, but at 20 feet there's no need for that. I might have to take a step when I get to 40 feet or 60 feet or 80 feet, while at 20 feet I may not have to take the step. So they're working on all of these things: body angles, receiving position, getting rid of the ball quicker, whether I take a step or not. All of these types of things that we've talked about in this video can be worked at this, and they'll get very, very competitive as to working at this, trying to beat the other people in their group. So anytime the ball is dropped, they're basically out. So if they can't get it around without dropping the ball, then they can't compete at all. So when the ball is dropped, their group is finished and another group goes on the field. Where if it's a bad throw and they catch it on a short hop, that the drill would continue, because that's a good defensive play by the fielder at that position. But again, as you'll watch them, all of the things that we've talked about coming out in this drill, players love it. They'll get very competitive and they'll realize, I didn't need to take a step. I should have picked that ball up barehanded. I should have moved my feet instead of reaching. I don't have to throw overhanded. I should have thrown just from where I received the ball instead of standing up and taking a step. The step I took should have been shorter. All of the things that we've talked about in this video today will be shown in this drill, and they are very enthusiastic about it, and they'll work at it, and it's just a great way to practice what's really happening in ball games. An option to the basic 20-40-60-80 drill is to insert a pitcher in there. Now you've got, instead of a group of 4 players, you've got 5 players. The ball goes around the square, comes back to the catcher, then goes to the pitcher, back to the catcher, and then the circuit begins again. So if you don't like the number of 4 players in a group and want to put 5 in a group, you can do that. Just gives you some optional ways to do this drill. Same things happening here. You've got to work again on quickness. Remember, the clock is ticking when you play this game of softball, and the young ladies have got to work at being quick, not just accurate, but also quick. They'll learn how to make the various throws and save time as they do that, because the clock is ticking and they're competing with either 4 or 5 other young ladies as they do this drill. The drill many of you might have seen in the past is called the star drill. And basically it's called the star drill because the path of the throws makes a star if you were to draw it on a form or a piece of paper. We have the catcher throw the ball, in this case, to the shortstop, who throws it to the first baseman, who throws it to the third baseman, who throws it to the second baseman, who throws it back to the catcher. Again, drawn on paper, that's a star. Now you'll get the same figure if the catcher started off throwing to the second baseman, who then went to third, then to first, then to the shortstop, and back to the catcher. We put the stopwatch on them. Not should they just be able to throw and make this path, but remember, the clock is ticking when the ball is hit. So we've got to time this and see if they can improve their times. We could insert some various options. We could have a runner and say that the batter has to get around the bases twice while they do this 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, whatever the case might be based on the skills of the players. So the star drill, while it's something that's been around a while, you can convert it into some other types of drills by just having runners or using the stopwatch or changing the path slightly. One time as I was coaching the British national team, we only had 4 infielders, and I wanted to do the star drill. And I asked myself, how can I do the star drill when I don't have the 5 players here? And so what I decided to do was create a drill. And I let the shortstop become the second baseman and the shortstop. So now she has to be in both positions by the time the ball gets there. And I named it the shooting star. If they throw pretty quickly, if the skills are high, you'll see that shortstop, that person who's playing both short and second in this drill, huffing and puffing pretty quickly. But if the skills are not as high and that takes them longer to make throws, then she's got ample time to get from shortstop to second base. But it's just a different variety, a different version of the star drill. We call it the shooting star. A lot of fun, makes people throw and catch on a hurry, a little bit under pressure. Hey, that's game-like. That's why we like it. It's common that we time catchers throwing to second base, and we're looking for pop time or glove to glove, whatever you want to call it, and your goal might be 2.0 seconds or 1.75 or 1.7 or whatever the goal might be, and you work at improving the amount of time it takes to get from the catcher's glove to the shortstop or second baseman's glove. We can do the same thing with outfielders, and here today we're going to set them up at 125 feet from home plate. We put it down a foul line, it's easier to measure it out there, but you can put it at their position anywhere on the field that you want. We've got a couple of cones that show them where they're going to stand. We'll toss them a fly ball, but they got to receive it behind those cones, and they're throwing to a screen at home plate. That can be an L screen, rectangular screen, doesn't really matter, but it's to simulate a throw from 125 feet to a catcher covering home plate. We're going to time them from the time the ball touches their glove till it either touches or passes this screen. And over the length of a season or several weeks or whatever, as they do this drill, then they can work on improving that time. Let's see what it looks like. Three 3.0. .53. 2.47. 3.0. 3.68. 2.31. Good job. Now they've got some times that they can shoot to improve. They may realize it takes better mechanics. It could be a better crow hop. It could be arm strength that they need. Could be accuracy. A number of things, but it gives them some times that they can shoot to improve, and it helps them to be better outfielders, getting a ball from one place to another place in less time. Now let's look at infielders doing something very similar. With infielders, we've set up a typical spot where a shortstop might field a ball and have them throw to first base. Now, for other infielders and even for a shortstop, that spot can be anywhere you really want to measure it. We've just put a central spot that we're going to have them field the ball in. We've gone 10 feet back behind second base, 25 feet toward third base, and then made a 5-foot square as you'll see on the screen. We're going to field a ground ball inside of these 4 cones and throw to first base. We're going to time it from when it touches the infielder's glove until it touches or passes the screen. Again, they'll work to improve that time through practice sessions. Let's see how that looks. .10. 1.65. 2.19. 1.71. 1.75. 1.91. 1.59. 1.72. Of course, we have to work on accuracy as well as arm strength and all the other parts of throwing. And one of the ways we do that is to make the target that's being thrown to immovable. And what we've done is take Jennifer and put her here at first base on a bucket. And Jana's going to be at shortstop working on throws that have to go to Jennifer here at first base. Jennifer has very little range now, which forces Jana to be more precise in her throwing. We've also put Jennifer low. If you throw low, the first baseman can stretch farther than if they're trying to stretch high. So on the close play, you have an advantage if the throw is low. You also have a greater margin of error in the throw if it's down. A first baseman, of course, can jump for a high throw, but there's a limit. If you throw low and you make a mistake and it's down, first baseman's got a chance. If you throw low and you make a mistake up, they've got a larger margin of error there to correct that mistake. So we're going to have Jana throwing to Jennifer here at first base on an immovable target. Jennifer's got the easy job. She sits on the bucket. Let's see how it looks. The same thing that was true for Jana at shortstop would be true for Samantha out in right field. So now we've moved Jennifer to second base sitting on a bucket, and Samantha's going to be throwing to her from right field. Again, a stationary target, keeping the ball down. Another great way to practice accuracy is with targets. And what we've done here is hang a couple of shirts on a fence. You can change the distance around, you can make it long, you can make it short, you can work on sidearm throws, underhand throws, backhands, overhand throws, outfielders, infielders, unlimited ways to do this drill. Here we've got a blue shirt down low and a white shirt up high. They're each getting one throw at the ball at each target. You can do this where they get 10 throws or whatever you want to do. A lot of ways to work this drill to work on accuracy, giving them something to throw at, a target for their throw. We started by saying that defense was a game of throw and catch. We've now seen that it's more than just a game of throw and catch. It's a game of throw and catch while a clock is ticking. There is a race and the clock is always ticking. The right way to throw, I hope you've seen that that is situational. Learn to throw a lot of ways. It depends on what's happening in a game. And all of this must be practiced. Remember, softball is not a written test. Throwing and catching are not written tests. They have to be performed on the field under stress, tension, fear, frustration, fatigue, a critical part of the game. Space and time, throw and catch. And the throwing part we've looked at today in detail. Now your job is to get out there and work on it. Hope it all goes well.